In the world of big corporate legal battles, you'd think it's all about clever arguments and mountains of evidence. But sometimes the whole thing comes down to something much, much simpler: the calendar. Today, we're diving into a fascinating case between Kenya's tax authority and Google, where a couple of missed deadlines cost one side everything. Let's get into it.
So this is really the question at the heart of our story today. In any legal system, rules and deadlines aren't just polite suggestions. They are the absolute rules of the game. They're there to keep things fair and orderly. And if you miss one, well, your entire case can just fall apart. So what happens when a powerful government agency is the one that misses the deadline? Let's find out.
All right, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the initial fight between Google and the KRA, the tax man. Then we'll get to the heart of the matter, the critical deadlines that were missed. We'll see how they tried to ask for a second chance, the really tough legal standard they had to meet, and, spoiler alert, why the court ultimately said no. Okay, so every legal drama has an origin story, right? Before we get to the big mistake with the timeline, we need to rewind and understand what put these two giants in a courtroom in the first place. And it all started with an investigation into one single Gmail account. So the Kenya Revenue Authority, or KRA, got a warrant to look into a Gmail account. They took it to Google's local office in Kenya, but Google Kenya pushed back hard. They argued, hey, you've got the wrong company. We're just a local office. The data you want is held by our parent company in the US, Google LLC. And you know what? The High Court actually agreed with them and canceled the warrant. The KRA, not happy about this at all, immediately filed to appeal the decision. And right there, that's the moment the clock officially started ticking. Now, when you get to the Court of Appeal, procedure is everything. I mean, everything. It's not enough to just disagree with a decision. You have to follow a super strict set of rules and deadlines. For the KRA, this is exactly where their whole case started to completely unravel.
The rules are crystal clear. After you file your notice of appeal, you have 7 days, 1 week, to serve it to the other side. The KRA, they took 22 days. Then there was a firm deadline to file the full record of the appeal. They missed that one too, by another 22 days. Look, these weren't just tiny little slip-ups. In the eyes of the court, these were fundamental failures to play by the rules.
So you've messed up. You've missed the deadlines, not by a little, but by a lot. What can you even do? Well, your only real move is to go back to the court, hat in hand, and basically ask for a favor. A really big favor.
And that is precisely what the KRA did. They filed a formal application asking the court to just validate their late paperwork, to pretty much turn back time and accept the documents as if nothing had gone wrong. But here's the thing. Asking a court to bend its own rules for you is no small thing. There's a very, very high legal bar to clear.
A court can't just grant these kinds of extensions because someone asks nicely. There's a formal legal test, a specific checklist of principles that a judge has to go through to decide if the request is even justified. The first thing you have to understand is that an extension of time is what lawyers call an equitable remedy. All that means is that it is absolutely not a right. It's a discretionary favor. It's the court choosing to help you out, but only, and this is the key part, only if it believes you truly deserve it.
So based on past court rulings, here's that checklist the judge uses. The party asking for the favor has to prove a few things. First, do you have a good, solid reason for the delay in the first place? Second, did you ask for help right away, or did you wait around? And really, it all boils down to this. Have you convinced the judge that you're deserving of this special treatment? The pressure was all on the KRA to make their case.
So how did the KRA's arguments actually hold up against this really strict legal test? Well, the judge took their reasons and measured them against each of these principles, one by one.
So, what was their big reason? The official explanation from their lawyer in a sworn statement, it was this single word. They said the notice was inadvertently served late. That's the word they built their whole argument on. Inadvertent. And the court was not impressed at all. The judge basically said that inadvertent isn't an explanation. It just describes what happened. It doesn't answer the most important question. Why did it happen? It's like saying oops without explaining how you dropped the glass. It just wasn't good enough. So they failed the very first test.
The timing of their request was also a huge red flag for the court. See, the KRA didn't proactively come to the court and say, hey, we messed up, can you help us fix it? Nope. They only filed their application for an extension after Google's lawyers had already spotted the error and filed their own motion to have the entire appeal thrown out. And this revealed an even bigger problem. They waited 4.5 months after Google challenged them to even ask for this extension. 4.5 months! And their explanation for that massive delay? There wasn't one. Nothing. Just silence. So they failed the don't wait too long test spectacularly.
So, when you put all the pieces together, the judge's conclusion was pretty clear. The KRA had failed to give a good reason for the first delay, and they offered absolutely no reason for the second, much longer delay. They simply had not proven that they were deserving of that special favor from the court.
With the legal test applied and the KRA falling short on pretty much every single point, the final outcome was basically inevitable.
The court's decision was final and swift. Application dismissed. The request for more time was denied. This meant their late filings were invalid, and their appeal was, for all intents and purposes, dead in the water. Their whole case was lost, not on the merits, but because of a procedural mistake. And to add insult to injury, they were also ordered to pay Google's legal costs.
And this all leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? This ruling is a powerful reminder that in law, the rules of the game are just as important as the game itself. It really brings up a debate. Are these strict procedural deadlines essential to keep the justice system orderly, or do they sometimes stop the truth from ever being heard? It's this fundamental tension between process and substance. And in this case, process won, hands down.